Hello everyone. So this is a continuation part of module 2. So this is a lecture 5 video. The topics that I am going to cover in this video are CMSIS, Advanced Microcontroller Bus Architecture AMBA, and bus interfaces on the Cortex M3. With the release and development of the new generation of ARM cores, collectively known as Cortex family, so this Cortex family microcontrollers are gaining momentum in the embedded application market. As more and more products based on the Cortex M3 processor and software that support the Cortex M3 processor are emerging. There are also a number of companies which providing embedded software solutions including codecs, data processing libraries and various softwares and debug solutions. ARM has looked to further this approach by publishing Cortex Microcontroller Software Interface Standard CMSIS, which we pronounce it as KIMSIS. This standard allows consistent and simple software interface to the processor and the peripherals. This KIMSIS was developed by the ARM to allow users of the Cortex M3 microcontrollers to gain the most benefit from all these software solutions, and it allow them to develop their embedded application quickly and reliably. So here in this figure we can see KIMSIS provides a standardized access interface for embedded software products. The KIMSIS was started in year 2008 to improve software usability and interoperability of ARM microcontroller software. It is integrated into the driver libraries provided by silicon vendors, providing a standardized software interface for the Cortex M3 processor features, as well as a number of common system and I/O functions. The library is also supported by software companies, including embedded OS vendors and compiler vendors. The main aim of this KIMSIS are to improve software portability and reusability, and it enables software solution suppliers to develop products that can work seamlessly, that means smoothly and continuously, with device libraries from various silicon vendors. And it also allows embedded developers to develop software quicker with an easy to use and standardized software interface. And it also allows embedded software to be used on multiple compiler products. And also it avoids device driver compatibility issues when using software solutions from multiple sources. The scope of KIMSIS involves standardization in the following areas, like hardware abstraction layer for Cortex M processor registers. This will include standardized register definitions for like NVIC system control block registers, SysTick register, MPU registers, and a number of NVIC and core feature access functions. Standardized system exception names. So this allows OS and middleware to use system exceptions easily without compatibility issues. So next type of scope of KIMSIS is it involves standardized method of header file organization. This makes it easier for users to learn new Cortex microcontroller products, and also it improves software portability. Next is a common method for system initialization. So each of this MCU, that is microcontroller unit vendor, provides a system init function in their device driver libraries for essential setup and configuration, such as like initialization of the clocks. Again, this also helps new users to start to use Cortex M microcontrollers and adds software portability. So next we have standardized intrinsic functions. Intrinsic functions are normally used to produce instructions that cannot be generated by IEC or ISOC. So this is nothing but C or C++ features are specified in a standard document ISO or IEC 14882 prepared by the International Organization for Standards, that is ISO, and International Electrotechnical Commission IEC. By having these standardized intrinsic functions, software reusability and portability and considerability are improved. So next we have common access functions for communication. So this provides a set of software interface functions for common communication interfaces, including like universal asynchronous receiver or transmitter UART, Ethernet, and serial peripheral interface SPI. By having these type of common access functions in the device driver libraries, so reusability and portability of embedded softwares are well improved. So next we have standardized way of embedded software to determine system clock frequency. A software variable called system frequency is defined in device driver code. This will allow embedded OS to set up the SysTick unit based on system clock frequency. KIMSYS has been created to help the industry in standardization. It enables consistent software layers and device support across a wide range of development tools that introduces overhead and does not define standard peripherals. The silicon industry can therefore support a wide range of variations of Cortex-M processor based devices with this common standard. KIMSYS can be divided into three basic function layers: core peripheral access layer, middleware access layer, device peripheral layer, and one more layer we can say it is access functions for peripherals. But mainly it has been divided into three basic function layers. The basic structure and the functional flow is illustrated in the figure. We shall now discuss each layer one by one in detail. So first let us take up core peripheral access layer. The lowest level defines addresses and access methods for common components and functionality that exist in every Cortex-M system. Access to core register NVIC, that is nested vector interrupt controller debug subsystem, is provided by this layer. Tool specific access to special purpose registers like control register, PSR register, etc. will be provided in the form of inline functions or compiler intrinsic. This layer is mainly provided by ARM. So next layer is middleware access layer. This layer is also defined by the ARM but will be adopted by silicon vendors for their respective devices. The middleware access layer defines a common API for accessing peripherals. That is, API means application programming interface for accessing peripherals. The middleware access layer is still under development and no more information is available at this point. So next we have device peripheral access layer. So this layer is mainly for name definitions, address definitions, and driver code to access peripherals. So in like hardware register addresses and other definitions as well as device specific access functions will be defined in this layer. The device peripheral access layer is very similar to core peripheral access layer and will be provided by silicon vendor. Access methods provided by CPAL, that is core peripheral access layer, may be referenced the vector table will be adopted to include device specific exception handler address. So next layer we have is access functions for peripherals. So it is an optional additional helper functions for peripherals. The role of all these layers is summarized in the figure 2. Advanced Microcontroller Bus Architecture AMBA. The demand of microcontroller is increasing rapidly in these few decades. It can be found in many daily applications such as washing machine, refrigerator, automobile, etc. The technology for miniaturized the system is now more concerned by the designer. The silicon technology has been developed from a few transistors to hundreds of million transistors. Since the invention of microprocessor, today the technology allows the integration of different part of component into a single chip, which also known as system on chip SoC. One of the main advantage of the SoC is the intellectual property IP can be reused in other design. The Advanced Microcontroller Bus Architecture AMBA was developed by ARM Limited is also designed for the same purpose. Therefore, AMBA architecture is most widely used in communication interface. Three distinct buses are defined within the AMBA specification, like Advanced High Performance Bus AHB, Advanced System Bus ASB, Advanced Peripheral Bus APB. Advanced High Performance Bus. The AMBA AHB is a bus interface which is suitable for high performance synthesizable designs. It defines the interface between components such as master, interconnects, and slaves. AHB, as I told you, is a high performance, high clock frequency system modules. So it acts as a high performance system backbone bus. It also supports efficient connection of processors, on-chip memories and off-chip external memory interfaces with low power peripheral macro cell functions. It also supports ease of use in an efficient design flow using synthesis and automated test techniques. Advanced System Bus ASB. The AMBA ASB is mainly used for high performance system modules. So it is used as an alternative system bus. So whenever the use of high performance features of AHB is not required, so then this ASB is used as an alternative system bus. ASB is also supports efficient connections of processors, on-chip memories and off-chip external memory interfaces with low power peripheral macro cell functions. Advanced Peripheral Bus APB. So this is mainly used for low power peripheral. So this is optimized for minimal power consumption and reduced interface complexity to support peripheral functions. So it can also be used in conjunction with either version of the system bus. Bus interface on the Cortex M3. Unless you are designing an SoC product using Cortex M3 processor, it is unlikely that you can directly assess the bus interface signals. Normally, the chip manufacturer will hook up all the bus signals to memory blocks and peripherals, and in a few cases, you might find that the chip manufacturer connected the bus to a bus bridge and allows external bus system to connect it off chip. The bus interfaces on the Cortex M3 processor are based on AHB Lite and APB protocols, which are documented in the AMBA specification. These are all as follows: the I-code bus, the decode bus, the system bus, the external PPB. The I-code bus is a 32-bit bus based on AHB Lite bus protocol for instruction fetches in memory regions from 0000 to 1FFFF. The instruction fetches are performed in word size even for 16-bit thumb instructions. Therefore, during execution, the CPU core could fetch up to 2 thumb instructions at a time. The decode bus. The decode bus is a 32-bit bus based on the AHB Light Bus protocol. It is used for data access in memory regions from 0000 to 1FFFFF. Although the Cortex M3 processor supports unaligned transfers, you won't get any unaligned transfer on this bus because the bus interface on the processor core converts the unaligned transfers into aligned transfers for you. Therefore, devices that attach to this bus need only support AHB Lite aligned transfers. The system bus. The system bus is a 32-bit bus based on the AHB Light Bus protocol. It is mainly used for instruction fetch and data access in the memory regions from 2000 to DFFFF and E01000 to FFFFF. It is almost similar to the decode bus, like all transfers on the system bus are aligned here. The external PPB, that is private peripheral bus. So it is a 32-bit bus based on the APB bus protocol. This is intended for private peripheral access in memory regions E0040000 to E00FFFF. However, since some part of this APB memory is already used for TPIU, that is Trace Port Interface Unit, ETM, Embedded Trace Macro Cell, and the ROM table, the memory region that can be used for attaching extra peripherals on this bus is only E004200 to E00FF000. Transfers on this bus are word aligned. This is a reference book for this topic. Thank you.